Good evening, I'm Father Russ Carmichael, and of course this is Street Talk. I want to thank you all, again, as usual, for letting me in your house in this late evening. Right now it's 5 o'clock in some place, but it's 8 o'clock here in New London, and I'm having senior moments. No, I'm glad to be in your house tonight. I want to say happy birthday right off the bat to Darren and Bobby that are both home watching. They had their party today, so happy birthday, boys. Okay, and to all our viewers, I want to thank you for continuing to support all our efforts in the legislature and all the things that we're doing and going on. Tonight I got a good show, a kind of a relaxing show. We're going to talk about stuff I haven't talked about in years, okay, that I used to love and I used to love to watch and get out of the way. Dominic Cotton, of course, is sitting right across from me, and I have a lady here, Jenni Shuttleworth, who is a fighting fitness personality, who is a dangerous little girl. That's what they called her, little girl, okay? But I'm sure the little girl gets in the boxing ring and you better watch out, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about fitness, boxing, the different changes that, and she's going to tell Father, okay, what's the difference. And most of you folks know that I've been blessed around a lot of boxes, grew up in Boston, Newton, got part of that Lowell tradition. Hi, Mickey Ward, I know you're going to see the show. Yes, it's Father here. Remember when you were a bad boy? Okay, and on all you guys in Boston, okay, Joe DiNucci, of course, through his boxing career, became the state auditor of Massachusetts. Okay, so boxing helps a lot of people. And of course, my brother had to remind me that I knew the great fireman, okay, who was a friend of mine, and we used to drink together, Paul Pender, who was heavyweight champion of the world. And cousin Tony DeMarco has a street named after him in Little Italy. So, you know, we got a lot of history here tonight. And Jenni.
Thank you, sir.
Bless you. Nice to have you here. And
thank you.
And your girl boxing. You know.
Not just girl boxing.
Oh, I know you don't do just girl boxing, okay? But the reality of the show was, you know, we were going to have Dominic fight the mayor, and the mayor said he would need training, but he has no experience. But Dominic went out and was looking for trainers, and
Actually, it was my wife. it was my wife that we discussed that, and she's going for her personal fitness trainer.
Right.
And she's done an incredible job losing a whole ton of weight and getting herself into shape. And I think, you know, we talked about this, and she actually found Jenni over at Fighting Fitness.
Yep.
And she's been such a blessing. And I know from my wife, because I get the little Facebook post that said, I'm going to Fighting Fitness because I need to go hit something.
And of course, our interest, we had talked about it on a couple of shows, joking around and stuff like that. But my real interest was I wanted to hear about where the women have come, how they have come out. I mean, the first one I really thought about was Ali's kid.
Absolutely.
Okay, when I think about when women first got into, that's where you know, and of course, even then it was late for me. I was not a good boy. I was a Boy Scout boxer. Okay?
Absolutely, you were pal.
I was a punching bag from my cousins.
Absolutely.
In Golden Glove training, and I learned very early, as I told you out there, that I'd rather use a gun and a pipe because these guys could beat the crap out of me. So, you know. Even though they used them in collecting gone. But that was another story.
That is another story.
Tell me how you got into...
I actually was watching the chairperson of the Milford Oyster Festival, Joan, spar about 10 years ago. And she at the time was in her young 60s. And she was sparring. And I went, I want to do that. That's something new I want to learn. And I have a goal every year. I try and learn something new. I've learned how to ride a motorcycle, learned how to crochet, learned how to do calligraphy. What the heck? Let's learn how to box. And it took some conversations with my boxing coach at the time, John Spihar, to get him to take me on as a new client. He finally took me on as a new client on the third time that I bugged him. I put the money down. I said, I want to learn how to box. And I went in for my first lesson, and he was late. He was on boxer time. And he comes in, and he wraps my hands, put my gloves on, and I throw my first 1, 2, 3. And my left hook hit that leather catch pad, and the sound rang through the room, and I was hooked. And that was a beautiful experience, and I've been boxing ever since.
And when we talk about boxing, of course, most of my audience, a lot of my audience will think, well, a lot of them will like, because you're a young lady, a beautiful young lady, they like to see you out there and box, okay? But another part of my audience is going to say, this isn't the thing for women. Women shouldn't be doing this.
Why not?
And, well, yeah, why not?
It builds confidence.
Right.
It builds character. It allows a woman to take a leadership role. And it's one human being against another human being. And it's also the art of moving out of the way and counterpunching.
Wait a minute. What did you call that?
The art
Art?
of moving out of the way, slipping, and counterpunching your opponent and staying in the ring for a full 2-minute round.
Well, see, that's the key that a lot of people don't talk about when they're talking about the pugilistic art and form that it takes, because most people look and see what happens as they see two guys in the middle of a ring, two gorillas punching the hell out of each other and bleeding all over the place. But you're looking at boxing from a very different point of view.
Absolutely.
In fact, you told me, as I told you, when you first got in the ring, and I was talking to my brother said, you're plus 70, you're going to get back in the ring. I said, I can't get back in the ring. First thing I got to do is have to, learn, get back into getting my face punched so I could fight through.
Absolutely
okay?
not.
And when I said that to you, you said, they don't do that anymore.
We don't teach eating a jab anymore.
Right.
That's a bully technique. We teach slipping out of the way, sitting out of the way, throwing a counter punch, throwing bread and butter, right hook right. We want to make sure that our opponents know how to move. Yes, you might get hit with a jab, but as long as you stay in the ring, you go your full round, you don't have the human capacity for that fight or flight, and you don't flight, but you stay in there, you know you can conquer anything. And as a woman in today's world, we have to be able to conquer everything the same as or better than a man just to make ends meet.
Again, the other key factor that I'm picking up right away is going to be the key factor that you're talking about, that a lot of people don't realize. And you just said, fight or
flight.
Okay, so you have to get over the initial thing that you want to run away from something.
Absolutely.
And usually that's due to a lack of confidence.
Absolutely.
And so what you're telling me and what I'm hearing from you is that you basically are teaching men and women, I know you cheat, but I'm trying to deal with the woman aspect of how to stand there, to overcome their fear so they don't run.
Absolutely.
So they figure out a way to deal with the problem that's in front of them.
Problem at hand. What's in front of you? How are you going to deal with what's coming at you? You get out of the way, you throw another punch. Maybe you got to sit in. Maybe you got to throw a liver shot. Maybe you got to pull back and throw a head shot. And you got to punish the body a little bit to get them to get the attention. And then they realize, oh, wait, maybe she knows a little something. But that's all right, because you get in there, you sit in there because you're shorter. You sit under the punch. You go to the body, you pull back, you go to the head. Maybe you do it once or twice.
I have to tell you, I worry about any woman that can sit here across the table from me and tell me she knows about a liver shot. Okay, and the reason I say that is my cousin Carmichael, God bless him, who's passed away a long time. He had what I called, gorilla arms.
Yep.
Okay, as a boxer, he was a very good club fighter.
Yep.
And stuff like that. And what he could do when you were getting in there, and he could throw a shot and hook you and get you right in
On this side.
on the in the liver on the side, right? Oh, I was just you know what I was just describing?
Absolutely.
A kidney shot.
Yes.
And he'd take your knee right out.
Well, a kidney shot will make you swear, but a liver shot will make you stop.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there you go. Okay, this is a dangerous woman here that you brought into the studio, Dominic.
I got to keep the dangerous ones around, Joe. Keeps you in check every once in a while.
My life is dominated by women, and he brings in a fighter. I said that.
But behind every good man is a good woman. So that's the way that kind of runs.
I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, you've had a few too many of those.
What can I say? But there's a lot of truth in that. So, what do you suggest for, say, young people starting out? Okay, I mean,
What we do is
what
we
age
have-
do you deal with?
We have boxers as young as 84 and as old as 5. And they come to the gym.
Uh-huh.
I hope you caught that.
I know
And
that.
they come to the gym, and we see their muscle dexterity. I want to meet them. I want to get a feel for their confidence level. We just had a nice little young man who's my height. He's a solid 8-year-old boy, my height. Kids are big nowadays. But his muscle dexterity may not be up to par. So just because he's my size doesn't mean he can be in an adult class. He's still a little boy. He still has to go in the right class for his maturity level and to build his muscles up. Can he hold the gloves up? Can he get in the ring? Can he go against the bag? Can he handle the sound of the bell?
What's his growth spurts going through?
Right.
Okay.
Every child is different. So they come in, they meet me, and then we go through the schedules and we see what times their parents can bring them, what classes will work out, what their age is, and what they can do. And we let them try a free class. Sometimes I have to give 2 classes out because maybe they cry the first day. But their parents want them to come back. They come back. Maybe dad takes a class with the child. So he's in there with the 5 and 10-year-olds. But he's showing his son he can do it, he can do it. So both of them take the class. Then there's all smiles. Then you have a rapport. You have a little boy and a father having a bond, or a little girl and a father, or a little girl and a mother, or a son and a mom, having that bonding experience of fitness. And maybe there's boxing, maybe there's plyometrics, maybe there's a bags.
Explain plyometrics.
It's the exercises you do to get your body in shape.
Okay.
For example, jump roping, warrior ropes, climbing the ropes, wall ball, throwing a medicine ball at a cement wall, planks, sandbags, slosh tubes and active bars, and just general fitness, keeping healthy.
Well, the reason I asked you to explain that, because most people don't realize what it takes to be a boxer. Okay, you're talking in the women's couple of minute rounds, or for men
2 minute
it was
round.
2 minute rounds. For men it was 3.
Yep.
Used to be. Okay, obviously it's been a long time. Father doesn't know exactly where the rules are. How? Okay, to do 3 2-minute rounds. How much training are we talking about?
We are talking you have to train for 5 3-minute rounds in amateurs in your ring boxing work.
Mm-hmm.
You have to train 3 to 5 times harder than your actual first amateur fight.
Exactly right.
So you have to put in the work for 9 months to a year before you even get in the ring
All right,
in front of a crowd.
Slow down, because
Sorry.
No, because I really want to explain to my audience. So many people think they can go and get 3 weeks, a month's worth of training in some art or physical thing, and then they go in and they get their head kicked in because
Well,
they don't.
that may happen because they've only gone for 3 weeks.
So you just said 9 months, basically,
To a year, yeah.
to a year, to jump in the ring for 3 2-minute rounds,
Absolutely.
6 minutes. You're talking a year's worth of work.
Yes.
I happen to totally agree with you because I know.
And
Okay.
she won't even let somebody spar unless they've done it for 90 days.
Well,
Absolutely. And it's light work. It's not even sparring what we do in the beginning.
Okay, so when you talk, we used to call that stuff road work.
Absolutely.
Okay, we used to call it road work. In fact, I ended up initially teaching my girl, which are all runners, all state champion runners, but I didn't realize when I taught them to run, I taught them.
Shadow boxing.
I taught them like a fighter, like you're going to
Absolutely.
hold your hands tight.
Absolutely.
And of course, a runner, you don't. You check a real.
I'm not a runner.
Well, I know. See, there's a difference. But I'll tell you, as a coach now, I learned from.
I'm with you, I'm not a runner.
I learned from Hall of Fame coaches that you stupid, that they're not going in there to punch somebody's head. They need to like run like a rope. So you use a different, you use a
But you
different
were
body.
teaching them what you
But
knew.
all I knew was the kind of road work I needed to build my physical stamina up for what I was doing.
Keeping your hands up for 6 minutes is a very hard thing to do.
Which is, right, okay. So, you mentioned jump roping.
Jump
okay?
roping is just one of the exercises.
How key is it to your overall thing, okay?
It plays a part. Jump ropes are a tool. Warrior ropes are a tool. Kettlebells
Warrior
are...
will explain.
Warrior ropes, the Marines, the Navy, the military uses big, heavy 40, 50, 75-pound ropes, and you do battle ropes. And you bounce them up and down. You make little worms. You do in and outs. You do arm circles, jumping jacks, lunges. Then there's kettlebells, where you're doing sumo squats, double swings, single arms, clean, snatch, and a lot of those words are not polite, but that's the terms for the exercises.
Exercise that you don't.
Absolutely,
Exactly
a clean
right.
and snatch.
Right.
An Olympic lifter will know what I'm talking about.
Of course, yeah.
So,
yeah.
but the general public needs to come in and get comfortable with the terminology.
Jump roping, of course, we went in.
We still jump rope.
I couldn't jump a rope now if my life depended on it. However, jump roping, and I've explained to many people who are young enough to do it, it's one of the best things for weight reduction you can do if you can, and for your endurance and for your cardiovascular system. This is all great stuff because it's a cool thing to learn the art of boxing.
But it's just one of the many tools that we use. We have a lot of things at the gym. We have a victory rack where we have iron bands, rings, TRXs, all on that. We have tires that we flip. We use sledgehammers. So we do a little bit of everything to condition our whole body for boxing because it takes your whole body to do the workout.
And where are you in all this now, Nick? Have you been going to the gym with
I go to the classes on Saturday. My wife,
Saturday class, yes.
Yes.
Are you doing the Saturday class?
I do the Saturday class. There's some things that I had to work out, first off, because I'm a little bit on the ambidextrous side.
That is?
So I had to figure out, okay, am I going to go righty or lefty?
Which side you going to use?
Right.
He's an orthodox boxer.
What's his? That's good.
And then
It's not a bad thing.
the other thing is, I had to learn to turn my body kind of in because I was used to. I worked in the mental health field for a long period of time, and back in the days when people got out of control, you might have had to do something to help them get in control.
Right.
But one of the main things that you learn was how to give the least amount of body area for you to get hit on. So you would turn off to your side, and you would learn how to kind of duck and weave, or kind of like meet the punch to with your arm. I call it like the windshield wiper because you were protecting your face.
Right.
It wasn't about taking your next shot like in that. So they had to turn me some because I was too far like this.
Yeah. Right.
So
You're squared out.
yeah.
You're a serious problem.
So it's
For somebody who knew what they were doing. Yeah.
We didn't hurt him.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it didn't hurt him. But this is great. This is really great stuff. Well, for events, I don't want to. You do events?
Once in a while we do events, like once a year we have a Fight Fest, and that's to buy equipment for the gym, and our ring boxers that are at Fighting Fitness get in and they do 2 90-second rounds so they can show their family and friends what they've learned. And even that takes 9 months to a year of training.
So, you're going to have an event this year?
Summer, yep.
A summer event? When do you have that?
We usually have it in August.
In August. So,
Yep.
so you'll have a big summer event down there, and your fighters will perform,
Yep.
okay? And Go
They will
ahead.
do their best.
And I was going to say the best thing that she does down there is she does birthday parties for kids.
Oh, yeah, we have
Called the
superhero training
birthday party.
parties.
Okay, okay.
Oh,
But
you
it's
gotta describe
all
these.
about training and getting the kids healthy. We borrow the superhero themes. We run like Flash.
Okay.
We leap through the muck monster tires and get out of trouble no matter what it is. If you get into trouble, you got to get out of trouble.
Right.
You got to face it head on. You got to face the truth. We leap over steppers in a single bound. We work our abs like Robin. We smash the ball like the Hulk, because it's very cool to smash stuff.
Oh, yeah. Right.
We hit things, we hit the bags with bang, boom, bop, like Batman. And we work the Spider-Man ropes of steel to build our core. And the kids do these little stations, and they get to do catch-pad style boxing as well, where they're hitting only our trainers, because they only fight at Fighting Fitness. They don't fight at school, they don't fight at home, they don't hit their teachers, their hedgehogs, their brothers, their sisters, or their principals.
So we learned that there's a certain place to fight.
Absolutely, in the
Okay?
ring.
In the ring. That's where you do it, okay? And that you don't take that.
We don't take it out of
we
house.
We don't take it out of house.
Absolutely
Is that
not. That's control.
right? That is control.
Self-respect.
And we don't run from things. We try to
Face them head on.
face them head on.
Absolutely.
I mean,
And that can start as young as 5.
okay. And you have a senior group.
Yes, we do. We actually have a senior membership at the gym. We have probably about 5 seniors,
You got seniors.
2 ladies and 3 men who work out. Some of them just do plyometrics
Okay.
on the TRX, the Victory
You
Rack,
got the bags. You got
the bags, the
you got-
cross trainer.
Okay.
And I have 2 young ladies who spar. In fact, I'll be bringing up one of her names because she also does fundraising for one of our programs.
Okay.
And then one of our other young ladies, and I call them young because they are young, but they are both over 60, and they both spar.
That's
Not
good.
work.
Not work.
Spar.
They go in there and spar. right?
They hit each other. There's been a never a bruised ego, but maybe somebody ate a jab or a cross. They did not slip out of the way as fast as they wanted
They
to.
wanted to? Oh, okay, that's interesting.
And then we have some young men who do training and the bag work, and maybe they can't take a hit to the head anymore. Maybe there is a health issue that they only can do the art and the workouts of the boxing program. And so they do the catch pad classes and they do the bag classes.
Okay, so you really analyze all the people that you've got coming in there.
I meet every single
You meet
person.
everybody that comes in there.
Absolutely.
You analyze them, you see where they are, and you understand their
Story.
story and where their capabilities and their goals are.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's really interesting. Go
I
ahead.
was one of the things I like about Jenni, she's got a philosophy to everything that she's doing.
Yeah.
And it's always teaching more than just the physicality of things. And I can see this because I'm used to people who have an agenda, so to speak. but there's always something that,
Well,
you know,
she's got an
you're...
agenda.
Oh, I know she does.
Exactly, just like mine. Go ahead.
But that's one of the things I like. You know, even with my son, my son comes in there with my wife. He takes some of the classes too.
Yeah.
And you know, she knows what his issues are that he has, and keeps an eye on him, like with, you know, if his energy's getting low. But is also like trying to teach him some level of discipline, as well as, you know, working with him on his focus and other things along those lines. And I know you did daycare.
I
at
did
one
for
point
years. I did it for years. I ran my own daycare back in Buffalo, New York, where I was raised. And then I came here to Connecticut, and I was blessed enough to find a wonderful job at Branford Hills Healthcare Center. So I worked with children of all different types.
You have a term for the type of fighting that you deal with,
Are you talking about the MMA?
MMA, right?
Right, mixed martial arts.
Mixed martial arts, okay. And you and I were talking about this in my day, they were not mixed.
No,
They were
they were
very
separate.
separate entities.
Absolutely.
Which have all come together, and people really didn't know, especially if you were a martial artist and you went from, you know, you did the martial arts, you thought maybe there was only judo, jujitsu, limited thing. And then all of a sudden, people found out all around the world that there were various forms and various
Absolutely.
disciplines that now are
Arts.
integrated, and they're all arts.
Absolutely.
Okay, and And this is what you're saying, okay, which I like, because obviously a lot of people look at blood and guts, okay, which is, you know, you go to the fights, the screaming and the blood and guts. The problem, and some people get turned off, there is an art to all these
Absolutely.
methods and forms and stuff like that underneath, okay, that
Well,
can
what is
Instead-
MMA? What is MMA? MMA is stand-up boxing.
boxing.
It is Muay Thai from Thailand, kicking,
Kicking,
elbows, knees.
knees, right.
And then it is grappling, or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
It is three beautiful arts put into one. And unfortunately, we have left the Queensberry style boxing. We have come away from that, and we have gone more towards a Hispanic culture and art of boxing.
Right.
It's a more defensive art.
Yeah.
It's a tighter boxing. It's a protecting of your liver more. And it allows you to get infighting in.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we've changed the way we box here in America.
Yeah, a lot, and a lot of people, unless you really are a student of it, but even if you're an old student of it, you don't realize, that's why where things have gone to, and where, you know, over the years, and where they are today.
Absolutely.
Versus where they were even 20 years ago.
You watch fighting from the 1940s versus fighting from the 60s versus fighting from the 80s, and then you come into the 2000s, and you see the art of how it has changed. But the one thing that stayed constant is a boxing match could be followed with one camera. And that's the one thing that they could handle. They could take care of it with one camera. But it has changed in style. It's also changed from the bar rooms in the circle with the Irish to actually getting in a stadium with hundreds of thousands of people at a boxing match where the ring was on the ground and they were on the ground. 100,000 people fill up. What's your favorite football team? The Patriots?
Yeah, that's right.
What stadium do they play at? I'm bad with,
I'm
bad with football.
Foxborough.
Okay, so they play at that stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you put a boxing ring in the middle of that stadium,
Right.
and you fill it, and
Yeah.
that's how many people would attend a boxing show in 1909,
Yeah.
because it was a main event.
It was the main event, right? Exactly.
It was a huge socialization, and nobody left upset. Everybody had honor. They had both had glory. And yes, one person won and one person lost. But they stayed in the ring and they fought. And
Yeah,
that's a
until-
beautiful thing.
Yeah, until they finished it. And
12 rounds, 12, 15 rounds back in the day.
In the olden days, even longer than that. And that's right. To view boxing and the sport in that view is terrific. Well,
You had a phone call.
Oh, good. I didn't even see that. I'm sorry. Good evening, you're on Street Talk with Father Russ and his guests. I'm sorry, I didn't... Hello? Hello?
Hi, Father Russ. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I was just wondering, a great show tonight. I was just curious how your guest deals with other coaches who have different styles, things of that nature, and if she worries about CTE with some of the people she works with.
I'm sorry, what was the last part of it?
Post-traumatic stress disorder?
Did you say post-traumatic stress, or did you say
CTE, chronic.
chronic?
Oh.
Okay. Chronic trauma, well, because the other thing is trauma situations.
Absolutely. One is respect all coaches. So I'm going to cover that. I respect every boxing coach in the state of Connecticut. We meet. They come to my gym for the USA Boxing officials meetings and for the USA coaches meetings. And we respect each other. We respect each other's opinions and we teach each other. We work together. We're a family. We're not, oh, that's bare bones, I'm not going to talk to them. When we see each other, we greet each other like boxers in the ring. We hug. We're good. We give a handshake. It's a respect. It's just a respect thing. As for the post-traumatic stress, yes, we have people that come in that may be sensitive to the bell. As I said, we want to...
Are we on target? What we're talking about, is that answering some of what you're talking about?
Oh yes, absolutely, Father Russ. Yeah, and again, it was more a chronic trauma. I was just curious
I
You're
apologize.
talking about the
what Jenni
chronic...
thought about that.
Gee, because I know that voice that I'm talking to.
I apologize, I'm ignorant. What is chronic trauma?
Well, it could be with...
CTE, that's what lots of NFL football players and
Oh,
Yeah.
concussion syndrome you're talking about.
Syndrome, right, exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're talking about concussions, you're talking about people who are fighting without headgear and then having to stop boxing. And amateur boxing is very strict now.
Right.
We have rules and regulations and safety procedures in place.
Right.
The children as in any child who's in amateur boxing all the way up to age 40, and that's still a child.
Right.
Or a young adult is in boxing, they have to wear headgear, mouthpiece, and cup.
Right.
If they get knocked out in amateur boxing, and they are out, there is a 90, 100-day, 80-day, and up to a possible year. There's also a 30-day suspension where they cannot spar at all. They also have to go see the doctor and their coach.
And their coach, right.
And their coach must stay with them the entire time until they go see their medical person.
Right, and we were talking about this, that if you had somebody coming in training with a brain injury, a situation where they couldn't get hit and everything, they can train and even train, but they would be...
Catch pad only and back class.
And that would be taken in consideration so the individual wouldn't get hit in the area of where they have the damage done.
Absolutely.
Does that help?
yes, absolutely. And I just want to ask one other thing, Jenny.
Sure.
How important is community to you and your business?
Why, thanks for asking. I actually have a thing on community, and we do a wonderful program with the children's, I'm going to put on my specs. I'm a little old. We partnership with Linda Barone, who's a fundraiser, and Patty Nicolia in children's community programs in the mentoring directions, and with Fighting Fitness, and we allow children in social services and foster care to come have a place for fitness, confidence building, socialization, and keeping the kids engaged. And it's a challenge. We have a dynamic boxing program for the at-risk youth kids out of Fighting Fitness in Orange, and it is sponsored by the Children's Community Program, and it is experiencing a boom, and it did experience a boom. It was a great thing. But in short, the kids that are involved in the CCP program are the future champions, and they are all champions. Every single one that comes into if they walk in the door, they're taking a step in my building. Again, it's a scary experience. There's bags, there's a ring, there's bells, there's tires, there's sledgehammers. It's very scary. So they walk in, they become a champion right away. They meet with me, they also can meet with Patty, and we define their fitness goals. Some of them want to spar, some of them want to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
Right.
some of them want to do Muay Thai, and some of them want to do everything. And they have the gold membership at their needs. And we set up a class designed for their schedules and what they can come to and what meets their challenges. We also have donations that, if you want to read this later, we have donations if you want to give to that program. But it's a great program for kids. And there's often times where I had a little boy come in, probably about 2 months ago, and mom was a little tight on money. And I said, he needs this membership. Can you work with X? And I took care of it. And I gave him a little bit of a discount so that he could get in and get his training done and get what he needs to do. So we're not just a boxing gym, we're a Fighting Fitness family.
Yeah.
We're a community.
A community.
Does that help you?
Are you still on
Do
there?
we, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
do we get that?
Thank
Is it-
you.
huh?
Yeah, thank you so much, Jenny, for your time. And
Oh, no
Russ,
problem. Thank you for
so
having
much
me.
For what you do, and Dom, you know I love you.
We love you too, and hope to see you soon.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you so much for your time, and thank you, Jenny.
No problem, thank you.
Well, I mean, and I'm sure you don't mind talking about this. You know, you've been through the foster care system.
Yep.
And I can see, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to have you on here, because I know how big of a heart that you have, and, you know, your experiences and how you've made it through and wanting to give back.
And I had some great foster mothers and great foster fathers, and I had a couple business-type foster fathers, and there's always a good and a bad. And you know what? I had food on the table, I had great teachers, I had great ministers, I had wonderful social workers. I had a great judge through my entire time in the foster care program. And they took care of me. And yes, I lived with my natural mother for about 6-7 years. But there was always somebody to take care of me. And I had my faith. But I made it.
You faced it.
I faced it.
Isn't what we're talking about?
That's right. I faced it.
Isn't that exactly what we're talking about? Right?
Exactly.
Isn't
I
that
faced it.
Isn't that what you're training people to do? Not run.
But face their challenges
But
in life.
face their challenge.
Absolutely.
Which means you have to overcome, which a lot of people don't realize.
Fear.
The fear, the flight, okay? Obvious because of my background as an ex-convict, as a prisoner that spent a lot of years. I don't care who you are, when you go into prison,
It's scary.
It is one of the scariest things in the world.
Attica's terrifying.
Well, yeah, people said, well, Father, how did you become you became a major leader with prisoners and stuff like that. I said, yeah, I was the person who was the most scared in the joint, so I had to become, I had to become a leader of these guys.
Absolutely.
Okay, but it is overcoming, your fears.
Absolutely.
And the flight you want to take off, but you got to solve the problems, don't you?
You do. That's what the Muck Monster Tire game is for. If you get into trouble, you have to get out of it. You have to face it.
You got to face it.
Absolutely.
Right. And so if the punch is coming on you,
You have to slip out of the way.
You got to slip out of the way. You got to learn how. You got to learn how to do that. I mean,
Absolutely.
You know. So in this training, these are all the philosophical things that we see are getting taught here.
Well, no, I mean, I know, and I work with somebody who's a black belt in karate and run there, and I find more of the time, the further that you get into something, it does turn into more of a philosophy and how it relates to life, and you know, how those things go well beyond just what you're teaching.
Absolutely.
Within all of this, and that's something that I recognize, and obviously we wanted to have you on here because, you know, talking about the scholarships and how important it is to help people, you know, especially kids with developing self-esteem, and how a lot of these physical things, you know, not only do they help them develop physically, but they develop mentally and gets them going in the positive direction.
And it gives them a good place to get out their angst. And
Right.
It might be scared, it could be anger, it could be anxiety, but they have a place to put it. And it's not into another human being or society, it's into the bag. Mm-hmm. It's in the ring. Get out your angst, get it out at the gym. Feel good when you walk out, because you know when you walk in, you got to get it out. The bag's there, the bag will take it.
Well, like any sport, all the sports, they can be used to your benefit. Mm-hmm. And if you use them properly, they will benefit you, and they develop character, and that is what you're about. That's exactly what you're doing. In your own situation, you faced all your fears, all the things you had to do, and you overcame them.
Absolutely.
You know, and you're continuing and giving back. What other things are we doing, like, I know you're doing the event.
We have a Fight Fest in August.
And then you do the birthday things.
We do the superhero training party. It's cute as heck.
Okay, you do the birthday parties, right? And do you do any like regular events, like
well, I judge.
like monthly?
I judge. I'm a USA boxing official,
which
and
means you travel around.
I travel to other shows.
To other shows.
Boxing and Faith, which is another community gym in Fairhaven.
Uh-huh.
And Coach Louis Rosa Shorty, he runs Boxing and Faith. He's a wonderful human being. He has a great stable of young at-risk boxers in the Fairhaven community who come to him and they get their workouts in. He has a pro stable that fights at Mohegan Sun.
That was gonna, we were gonna segue into that.
And tomorrow night, he is having a show, and the money that he gets from his show will buy the boys equipment, gloves, things that they need for the gym.
Where's that held?
That's being held at 164 Grand Ave in Fairhaven.
In Fairhaven.
Fairhaven, New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And I will be one of the young ladies or men that is there to help the young men and ladies that are boxing tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We'll be doing their blood pressure, weighing in. They go see the doctor to make sure they're physically able to box.
Now, say, can I find a schedule on the, on
USABoxingCT.org.
Right, USABoxingCT.org.
.org. And you'll find-
And I can find all the scheduling
For all the amateur
for
fights.
all the amateur fights.
And we
right?
have the JOs at the Hartford Center
JO means what?
Junior Olympics,
Junior Olympics, and we have
and
that
that's the 4th
on the 4th.
of April.
And where's that going to be
That's
held?
going to be held in Hartford at the Bright Futures, I believe, Old San Juan Center in Hartford.
Is that on the website?
Yes, it is.
Scheduling the amateur?
Even the directions on how to get there, everything. We have a great web designer who puts that together, and they take care of the updates.
And a lot of people don't realize. I mean, the Mohegan has regular
Yes, they do.
regular boxing, and in fact, I was really mad for our local people. You know that Mr. Sad-Eye got up there and got his picture taken with Mickey Ward. Never did call me up and let me know that Mickey Ward was at one of the fights so that I could run up and see him.
Well, I got my picture taken with Mickey
Yeah,
Ward, too, so
you know why? That's why I said that, because you also had your picture taken with
And he touched
Mickey.
my hand.
And of course, low boxing goes back to 1945. Traditionally, one of the premier New England areas
Absolutely.
where boxing come out of. It is an amazing history.
The Fighting Irish.
The Fighting Irish. Well, Marciano wasn't Irish,
But we're okay.
but we're okay. Tony DeMarco, okay. I don't want to say was not Irish. I'm not going to, Grazia, I'm not going to continue down the line. But Kelly was, Paul Pender, who I love, Paul Pender was, and then the Irish that come out of South Boston were some very serious boxers.
Absolutely.
And of course, Mickey, what can I say, But I balance them off, but the history of where it's come to is
Absolutely.
Okay. And I love what you're doing. I am not a fan of the cage boxing.
And that's okay.
I just don't happen to be a fan of that type of boxing. It looks like more street fighting to me and stuff like that. But there is an art in that too.
There is, because you have to be a master of all three things.
You have to master. That's exactly right, and I understand that. Okay, I do understand it. But what you're doing is really terrific.
Well, we do boxing at the gym. That's most of our classes. We have plyometrics as well, kettlebell training. We do have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we do have Muay Thai. So are we doing mixed martial arts? Yes. But are we also making it palatable for everybody to do it so that there's no trauma in the beginning? Absolutely. And we want everybody to be comfortable so that everybody can take it and try it out and see if they like it. And I have to say, I have the most amazing coaches. I have to give a shout out to all my coaches.
Yeah,
Coach Mike, Coach Gary, Coach Jose, Coach Rona, myself, Coach Chris, all my trainers in training, Trainer Jonathan, Trainer Jeremy, Ryan, Anthony, Nick, all my boys who come in, my little Jessica who helps out at the birthday parties. She's a wonderful human being, a great kindergarten teacher, and she gives her time, to help us with that. She's a wonderful person. I would take 1,000 Jessicas. I'd take 1,000 Ryans, 1,000 Jeremys, and these aren't perfect kids, but at the gym, they're leaders. I will take 1,000,000 Coach Chris's, 1,000,000 Coach Gary's, 1,000,000 Coach Ronas, 1,000,000 Coach Jose's. They're great people. 1,000,000 Coach Mike's. I'm sorry, Coach Nina as well. We actually have Zumba too. Some of the ladies like to shake. So they have a little class where they let off some steam, and I even do it once in a while, and it's a workout. You're working muscle groups that you normally don't work out when you're boxing. It's a whole different pot. But we have great trainers in training, great coaches, great staff, great members, and all that makes for fighting fitness.
Now, when you talk about members, I'm going to ask you the hard thing. Fees. cost factors.
I don't do cost on the computer, the phone, or the TV, but I will say the memberships can be as low as 20 a month.
Thank you.
And as high as 150.
Okay.
It depends on the membership you
and
want.
what you're doing.
And it depends on what you want to
Well,
do.
that's what I wanted. I wanted your range
Yeah.
to understand.
We have 7
So we're
different
dealing
range.
from
The
real
basic-
basics.
the basic to the
Okay,
gold.
Okay, to the gold standard. You're talking head to pro?
To gold, gold can
Well,
go to amateurs, and
Amateur, okay, at least high amateur, right?
the gold covers everything. Remember I said you wanted to
Yeah,
be an
yeah.
expert to get in the cage?
Yeah, exactly.
The gold covers the Muay Thai,
Okay.
the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
Okay.
and the boxing.
Okay, good.
The regular boxing, and we also have a senior membership for young ladies and men that are 1995 and higher,
Okay.
times 3. So they need to, they're on a fixed income.
Right.
They've done their time.
Right.
They want to come in, do the classes. There's a class senior membership. There's also a senior basic membership. And we
Okay.
want to make sure they're comfortable. We have a military discount for our military men and ladies. I give back. So we want to make sure that
Well, we
everybody's taken care of.
know to run, okay, father runs a business.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, let's face it, I have to earn a living. I run a ministry too.
Absolutely.
So my business earns money that I can you run a business, you have to,
But that's
you
why
have to
there's
deal with,
fees.
that's why there's fees, okay? And you can't.
Somebody's gotta turn the lights on.
And you gotta turn the lights on, somebody's gotta pay for those tires and
That's
those
right.
ropes, okay? So that's the
Absolutely.
reality, that's the reality of stuff. And if you're giving back and you're doing it within a reasonable thing, that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
And again, you're talking about your measurements, the personal measurements of the person that's going in there, where they want to go and the goals they want to reach.
Exactly.
Is what you're talking about. But you got one-stop shopping, it seems, at your place. So obviously, at my age, I'm not gonna gonna go with
When
the
you want to
page.
come down for a free class,
I'm
come down.
going to come down there and
Absolutely.
and go in the ring with
Not,
Dominic.
not on your life.
She'll get you working on your frog ass.
He's got to get those squats going.
Not anymore. Steel hips, honey.
You can still squat
I
with a
can
steel
still do it.
hip. You can still do a waiter pivot.
Well, I'm going to be seeing you because I got the other hips got to go in this year. But no, that's really terrific. You want to say anything? I am so happy that we had you on
Thank
to
you.
talk about this stuff. We're going to have her back,
Yep.
okay, to do a little more detail and
Absolutely.
into exactly what you do.
If you want to
I
do
want- I
any
want-
donations to the programs that we have for the kids at risk,
Okay.
you can send a donation or check and put in the memo the future champions.
Okay.
There are different memberships or 90-day trials. There are gloves. There are 1-month memberships. But all you have to do is contact Patty at the Children's Community Program or Linda Barone. And you can send an email to Fighting Fitness, and I'll forward it to her for safety purposes.
And that is, what's the address for her?
For Fighting Fitness?
Fighting Fitness, right.
Right, Fighting Fitness.
Okay, yeah, where's your address here?
367
Oh,
Boston Post
Post Road, Orange, okay?
Yep, right outside of Milford.
So that can be sent to you, okay, down there for donations for the at-risk,
And it will go to the Children's Community
goes to
Program.
Children's
Absolutely.
Community.
Actually, make the
That's-
check out to future champions,
Yeah.
not to Fighting Fitness.
Right,
So
okay.
that I can make sure the money goes to the kids.
Good.
Because if you're making a donation to that, we want to make sure you get credit for that.
okay, very good. And Dominic, do we have, what's coming up?
Well, next week's Good Friday, so
So we pass.
we're
taking a break.
We're taking a break.
The Pope's going to give me
He's-
absolution.
you know what?
He's mad at me anyways.
He's coming around to work with the homeless. He
Yeah.
lets them into St. Peter's Square all
Yeah,
the
but we
time.
ain't
now.
living with him. So I got a problem with that. So, living and letting them in are two different things. Okay, so me and Frank got problems, And anyways,
After that, we got
We're on a
the
roll.
Senate Majority Leader.
aha,
Bob Duff is going
Bob
to be on
Duff
one
is
of
gonna
our
be here,
on a
okay.
tape show, so that'll be on 27 or whatever.
27, that'll be tape.
Yeah, and then Paul Formica.
We got Paul coming, Senator Paul
Formica.
Formica. I'm looking forward to seeing Paul, if I don't see him at his restaurant.
Yep.
Okay, and everything else. Great show.
Yeah.
I thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for having me on.
Absolutely, wonderful to have you on.
Thank you for
All right,
having me on.
folks, God bless you. Tune in, stay with us, watch the tapes, okay, and we'll catch you later.